This is Jackie Smith with ProServe Solutions. Thinking about upgrading or curious to see what's new with FACTS? As an Infor channel partner, the purpose of this demonstration is to show you features available in the newer versions of FACTS. We'll be concentrating on features from 9.1. We'll even show some features our customers have found impactful as far back as 7.7. New forward-looking technology. Increase control over your data with greater visibility. Reduce crisis purchasing. Make the right items available at the right time. And some of the new features that we'll introduce will show you how enhanced flexible reporting with unlimited periods stored. Next level compliant credit card processing. Work more efficiently. We'll take a look at these features and summarize at the end here. So what is new in the background? Infor developers have been working behind the scenes, programming that is not visible to the average user. They're creating an integrated platform behind the Infor products, like a bridge, so that FACTS programs can be easily connected to other programs. What's new on the inside? The first thing that's new in the inside is the menu looks very different. There's no icons. It's a tree, collapsible and expandable. Well, let's get right into the demo and see how this works. I'm going to log in with a lot of security here as George. You can notice that the screens are moved. You can move them around. You can expand them, and they'll resize accordingly. We'll take a look at some preferences here. Here's one new feature. You can change your company. Some businesses have more than one company, and now the new feature is each company has its own color scheme, up to 11. And as you go into another company, the look is totally different. So there's no chance of mixing up which company that you're working in. We're going to change it back to the demo database so that we have all of the things in there we need to see as new features. Okay, so we are here as George. We're going to take a look at the user preferences. You have the ability in the user preference to set a printer default for this user. There's a hierarchy set up in FACTS, and ProServe Solution staff can help you set up those hierarchies depending on programs, but this is the default for this user. You can change your screen size, your font, and you can check off autocomplete. There's alerts that can be set for this user. A new thing with FACTS is that you can exit out. You can either sign off or you can use the red X in any program, and it will act like done, exit, or sign off. If we sign off, we're going to sign back in as a different user. Now I'm signing in with full security. As you can see, that each user, this one does not have the dashboards on the side. The other user, George, had the dashboard set up where he had authority to see executive summaries, and he chose to have them open upon login. This particular person did not want them to be on login. He wanted to be able to go in and see the executive summary but not have them displayed on a screen. They're updated throughout the day. One new thing, Infor Login has the ability to set the FACTS date. It's based on security, and if you need to change your FACTS dates, you can do it here based on security. And here's an example of the flexibility with the new menu system. As you saw before, there was one main menu with all of the different programs listed down, and you could expand into more detail if you needed to. You also have the ability to create a primary menu per user. And in addition to that, you have this little shortcut where you can drag the tasks over that you frequently use, that you're going in and out of all the time, and your menus can launch directly from here. You still have the access menu. You can access everything you need to access with the same codes that were in the FACTS in prior versions. Well, let's go back to the main menu, and we'll take a look at some of these screens and how they look, see what's different. If we go into Inventory Control, Inquiries, and then Item Inquiry, the Item Inquiry screen will pop up. The look and feel changes. It looks much more like the way you would use a website. The idea is that you can work a little bit like how you play. You have the views to the left here in the menu. You have the information that you're looking at the top and all of the details in the body. You can set preferences for how you would like to see these views. Right now, activity, it opens up to activity. You can do some synchronizing to other screens if you want to synchronize your item inquiry into your orders. But let's take a look at changing this view of what's on top. Let's just say I would like to see warehouses. I'm someone who would like to see the inventory as soon as I go into item inquiry. You could put quotes and orders or ledger cards, whatever it is that you would normally go into as your favorite. I will put the warehouse and say OK, and it immediately changes to the top. It is what will open when I'm in it. Let's take a look. We're going to exit out. Go over here, use the shortcut key, enter, item inquiry, and there it is, warehouses at the top. This is very similar to other versions of FACTS. Let's drill down and take a look at the drill down capability. Drill down, drill back. Let's take a look at ledger cards. If we randomly pick a sales register transaction here, we can either view the document by the button or double click and the document will open up. This is an invoice, a past invoice, and I can now take this and print it. I'm going to print it to a PDF. ProServe Solutions, our staff can help you set up your defaults so that the first default will be whatever you normally would print to, and then you could also select a printer for something different. If for the demo purposes, we're going to print to the PDF. I have a few things that will flash on my screen that you won't have just because this is a demo environment. And the PDF will appear here. I now have the ability to save it, print it, or email it. Right from item inquiry, right from ledger cards. As I back out, in this invoice, I have all the details I have in a view. If I have security, I can see the GL posting, the AR detail by clicking on the buttons. I'm back to the ledger cards and the item inquiry. There's a timeline. This timeline is providing additional information about this item. It has the purchase order, the document number, the shipment, the messages of what's happening with it. The safety stock order point, you can scroll over and see more. You can click on it, and now you have an actual copy of the purchase order here with all of the information that you would have in a view. We'll take a look at item search at this time. All of the item searches work the same way throughout the system. You have ability to set your preferences here as well. So let's do preferences. I can say I want to sort by the item number, but I have description as one of the options too, where I can just start typing the description in. It starts with or go to. So item number, I can go to my columns here, and I have decided that I really don't like the way this is item and description and then available. I really want to have the description 2 showing right after description 1. I can make these changes. I can put it where I want to put it. I can take the on order. Let's say I want the on order underneath the available. And let's get it right underneath the available here. Put the description back where I wanted the description and take this interchange off. All of these things so that it's not even visible. I don't need it. And I can say OK, and all of those changes I made now will be immediately available. I can move my columns, change my length. And now I can see what I want to see directly on my screen. So note there's a new feature here too, newer, that's you have the ability to check off the box to exclude inactive items to only be searching for items that you really would be able to use. So I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to take a look at quotes. And there's all of the different things that you can look at here. In quotes, there's a new feature called the title. The title gives you more flexibility, more control, ability to audit, and saves time in recording and having different notes. This is clearly visible, and we'll take a look at a quote and see how it works. So if we go into sales quotes and quote entry, I'm going to type in one I've already pre-entered. You have effective dates, expiration dates, and here's the title across the top. You also have, and all of these screens are flexible according to, we can put different items from the header displaying on the screen. You still have the header information here. But the title goes across, is on as an option here to display, and you can use this title many ways. Be thinking in your company how this might work for you. I'll give you two examples just to get the thought process going. You have the same customer, the same item. The customer comes to you, they're working on a not-for-profit, and they're asking you to contribute to this not-for-profit in the community, and they're asking you to give a discount price. Well, you only want to give that discount price for that one item, that one time on this one quote to this one customer. So you can create a quote with a title on it so you know exactly what it is. Then you would have the customer's reference number, the same. It just gives you more flexibility to add information. Another way to use the title is that you'd have several quotes under one grouping. For example, if your customer is working on an apartment complex and there's lots of different quotes for one job or one area or one project, you can create that project here as the title. And as you're looking for quotes, you'll be able to see the title right in it. Now we'll take a look, we'll go on and take a look at where we can, how this is used in sales orders. One example. I won't print the quote at this point. You have the ability in quotes to convert either to a sales order or to a contract. If this quote is something that you want to be able to save in the future as a contract for this customer, so when they order and the item is placed on an order, it'll automatically come up at the pricing that you quoted. You can save the quote once it's approved, and there's all these different rules about approving contracts that ProServe is willing to work with you and do any kind of training that you need to get this working, how it will fit your business. We'll not convert at this time. Because we're using relationship management in the demonstration, relationship management has a tracking activity section. It's called notes, but you can set up every time something happens to a quote or an order or something that's happening with that contact, it will generate a note. You can add to it. You can put the default as you want, but it captures the quote number, and you can say why you went into this order or this quote. I changed something, I added something, however you wanted to say that. Now we're into the quote. We're done with the quote. I want to go into a sales order and demonstrate. Now I could go through the tree, go into sales order entry, or I can go over to my shortcut, click sales order entry here, and now I'm going to type in this customer. I'm going to put a request date, just say that we're shipping out 3 days, so I'll say a request date for 3 days. That's what I told the customer we'd be shipping it then. I could put my customer's PO number in here, how I'm shipping, and here's where I would be adding my contact in. If I started in relationship management, the contact would automatically be defaulting there. There's one contact here. If this is not the person I'm talking to, I have the ability to add a new contact here to manage all of the contacts right from the screen. So I'm going to pick Julie and say OK. And now I will put in the item number that I had the quote for so we can see how this all relates. As I entered the item, a pop-up box appears and it gives me the opportunity to see for this customer, this item, this warehouse, whether I want to import any of these quotes, the prices that I had already discussed with the customer. This information, the title shows here. These can move around as you need to set fit for what you use it for. You can see the date, the effective date, the expiration date, the quantity, the price, and whether or not it's converted or not converted. So quotes that are already converted to orders will also appear here until you remove the quote. So this is not converted. This is the one that I would want on here. This is what I talked to them about. I'm going to import it onto my order. And as I work through this line, the pricing came up exactly what I had said in the quote. The quote number is in the source here. Now, if I wanted to not use one of the quotes, I can certainly do that. I can add the line here, I-100, and just simply skip this box. I don't want any of these. I want to default to the pricing that's in the system, and there it is. While we're in the sales orders, we're going to talk about lost sales and the way that it affects purchasing. The purpose of this is to increase communications between sales and purchasing, to be able to share valuable information of what's happening with the customer. If a customer called and said, I wanted, 100 pieces of something and you're out of stock, the salesperson is going to save the sale and find a substitute and put the substitute on the order. If the substitute's on the order, you really don't want purchasing seeing that sale and saying, oh, we have 100 pieces of this sold, we better order more because we might be selling more. You want to be able to tag that item as an exceptional sale. By tagging it as an exceptional sale, then it will not be counted in the calculations, and purchasers will not be prompted to purchase it or purchase the extra amount. So what happens with what you could have sold? Purchasing needs to know what you could have sold. So right on the order, you have the ability to capture lost sale throughout the whole system. Now we're sitting on this customer in this order. I'm going to open up the lost sale entry. It defaulted to this customer, and all the information defaulted in. I have to type in the item number I could have sold and the quantity, all the information about it, and capture that information so it's visible. So you have more control, more visibility, and better purchasing information. The other way the lost sales work is if you want to delete an item off an order, or if you want to delete a whole order, you have the opportunity to say, are you deleting this because it's a lost sale? And you can say, yes, it's a lost sale. You can pick the reason. So if I say yes, this will highlight. It will give me whether I want to record it or not and what my reason codes would be. So we're just going to cancel it here. I want to go into a couple other things to show you at the end of this order to show you how we can have some increased enhanced features on printing. Now, in this pick ticket print prompt, we have the ability to save our defaults. It's the 80-20 rule. If you typically print your pick tickets and you have the opportunity to do a packing slip here as well, if you print that now, both of those, you can save this to be your default so you're not using the drop-down box every single time. So you have a pick ticket, a pack list, and an acknowledgement all on this screen that you could have according to your business rules what you would like to default to, and then you have the ability to change it per customer. Just the pick ticket. Do not print it. So if you're someone who prints your pick tickets in batches, then you can say no now and have that default so you don't have to do this every time. So for the demonstration purposes, we're going to print a pick ticket, a pack list, and acknowledgement. We're going to choose the option for this customer this time to print the prices on the acknowledgement. Without prices, acknowledgement is very similar to a packing slip. So I'm going to say OK, and it will show up on the screen. Again, we're capturing the order because it's in relationship management. I'm selecting the PDF viewer so we can see everything that's happening on the screen. So the first thing that comes up is the pick list and the packing. The pick, ticket, print, and the packing slip. That was on the very first option. And let's just scroll down here quickly and see that it says the pick, ticket, print. And then this right along, that's the customer copy, the packing list print. Customer copy. And then you have the accounting copy. You set these copies according to your business and what you would like to see. Now, after we printed the pick, ticket, print, it changed, and the next option is the print acknowledgement print. The pick ticket and the pack list, if you select them, are on the same prompt. The acknowledgement can be a different prompt, and you can set these defaults up. Again, ProServe is willing to help you to set these up for your business needs. This is just a demonstration and an overview. I'm going to the PDF to see what the print acknowledgement would look like. And we will see it here on the screen. Once the items are in a PDF and on your screen, you have the ability to save, print, or email. So you can email these acknowledgements. The acknowledgement captures the line item, the description, the quantity, and we chose the price and the extension here. So it's capturing the line item on it. So it has a customer copy and an accounting copy if you so desire. Okay, so we're going to exit out of here. Take a look. We're back to the main menu, but we're going to continue the discussion of the lost sales. I had mentioned that you can capture lost sales anywhere. You can capture it in an item inquiry. You can capture it wherever you're talking to the customer. Someone calls and says, how many of these do you have? You look it up. But right here on this plain menu, I can capture lost sale from here. Now here I have to put in the customer. Who am I talking to? Because it didn't default. But you have the same ability to capture lost sale information across the board. We're going to take a quick look at sales order review. Sales order review has been primarily used, well, it's been used in the past with accounting reasons. There's all kinds of uses for it, but I just want to show you some enhancements and some things that are available. Let's take a look at all documents, just the orders that have not been sent to the warehouse. The pick ticket has not been printed. They've been entered only for a particular salesperson. So let's just say I'm a salesperson and I want to see this. I want to see where my orders are and what's open. I can create this criteria with any of the information I need to create it on. Maybe I only want to see back orders. Or counter sales that are assigned to me. Once I create this, I can save the filter values so that when I open this screen up, this is what appears. I can still go back and change warehouses and say I only want to see what's on hold. This screen also can be used for accounting purposes as well. But in this example, you also can resort your columns. Now, I want to just see what is I want to look at the highest total value first and kind of work down just to see what's there. I can open the document view from here as well. Just a little helpful hint and some things that maybe you can use. Let's take a quick look at contract pricing. Contract pricing has contract maintenance screen now. There's several things you can do in the contract maintenance screen. I'm just going to show you a few just to give you some highlights. We'd be glad to meet with you and do some training, some extra details if this is something that you're curious about that you're not using now. We have several customers using it, and they really like the ability to use the filters and work right from the screen. You still have the ability to do contract entry maintenance one at a time. The contract maintenance screens, this is a collection. You can create a collection by creating a filter. And this is all this means is a group of contracts that have something in common. And all of your scopes are here. You could pick all these different scopes to include or exclude. You have ranges. You can do, like if you pick salesperson, you could do one salesperson or a range of salespeople or individual salespeople listed, or you could pick a particular customer and just have a filter for one customer. For now, for the demonstration purposes, we're going to do a very simple one. We're going to pick all the contracts that will expire before February 1st, 2017. And we'll run that, and look, immediately it went through all of the system of all the contracts and returned 6 contracts. If I click on this button, I will be able to see all the contracts here, all the items on each of the contracts. And it tells me what it is. I can save this, I can work with it. From here, I can work on each one of these contracts. I can edit, copy, make a new one. I can approve it, I can unapprove it, I can delete it. In addition, this whole group of contracts, I can choose, once I've got my collection correct, like adding things in, deleting, doing what I need to do to get this collection right, I then can export this to Excel, and I can change the expiration dates, change the pricing, and it doesn't have to be the same day. I import it back, and the contracts are automatically changed. So there's a powerful way to work here, and this is a good way to get work done and taking some of the mundane data entry out. You can describe it and keep the different filters for different reasons. We're just going to exit out here and go on to the next thing. Once you have Excel open, there's several things you can do in FACTS. When you have grids, you can export data. We just saw the example in contract maintenance that you can use. I'm going to show you another example now in ARI. For those customers who have or are interested in having relationship management, you have the snapshot that's just built into ARI and API. This RM snapshot relates to the customer you have pulled up. We're going to pull up C100 because there's a lot of data there. We're going to take a look at what is happening at the moment with this customer. And when I click on this, Export Now, it just exports into my open Excel. It is now in Excel. All of this information is right here at my fingertips. There's a summary. I can click on the summary, and it'll take me right to the AR Invoices tab. These are tabs with different information on here. I can see all of the invoices for this particular customer. I can see my past sales. The profile with all the different reports and charts, just to give me a quick picture if I needed to understand what was happening with them. I also have the ability to take a look at this a little bit here at the bottom and see the top 10 items for this customer. This is all just as a click of a button. Once it's in Excel, you can do what you want with it. We're going to not save it. And we're going to go back into our demo here. And we're going to do the same thing in API, just to show you the power of this tool with the relationship management module. We'll pick vendor 100, look at the scorecard, export now, and here we have information about this vendor that relates to the vendors. The AP invoices, the on-time performance. We can take a look at the summary, the profile, all the different charts that have to do with this particular vendor. again, in Excel, right here at your fingertips. Let's go back to ARI now because I just was showing you that, and just show you a few things in ARI. Customer inquiry. We talked about changing the searches, doing your options. You can see how this you can see the sales here. Okay, so we'll just, it's the same concepts we learned in item inquiry. If you have service, you have equipment. If you have ledgers, cards, check history, credit history. I'm going to exit out of here and show you a few things in ARF. Type ARF. Customer file maintenance. Click to open. And here we are. C100. We'll take a look at a couple things here. You have the ability to set a credit limit. You do the default across the whole company. Then you set the credit limit, obviously for each person. But you also have the ability to set the default on what the rules will be. So for this particular customer, we're going to require a password to change, or we're going to place it on hold if they're over, or just give us a message. We also have printing options that have been changed because of the different things that are available. You have the customer item number that is available to print on different documentation, including the packing list and the acknowledgement and the pick tickets and quotes, things that will go back to the customer. You can choose to print your, you have the default set for the company, and then for a particular customer you can make changes on the pick ticket and the packing list according to what you would like to see. With prices and item numbers, making it look that will fit for your particular customer needs, and if you have one customer that's different than the rest, you can still take care of that. So we're going to exit out of here and take a look at infrequent and the static control. So you have the ability here to enter the number of months to consider when calculating a customer high balance. Previously, in the older versions of FACTS, the high balance would show, and if you were a FACTS customer for a long time and using this, you could have a customer who you would have the high balance from 15 years ago, and maybe you didn't want it to be 15 years ago, you wanted to see it for 15 months would be more realistic to you. You can change what you wanted to change here and make the high balance, so the high balance will be only, it will look back 15 months or whatever you choose to put in here. So that's something that's fairly new, and we wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. There's several other features we won't be going over today, but this is just to give you some features that we thought were impressive and some people really like or talked about, even if they were from some older versions. We're going to look at GL now and take a look at a few things in GL. So in the GL, we're going to take a look at the financial reports. So the financial report setup, if you are a person who's responsible for setting up these reports, let's just take a look at this quickly because not everyone does this, but those who do know that you have to, if you're going to insert an account, you have to insert it in with these lines, and then if you run out of 10, if you insert more than 10 spaces, you have to renumber. Well, here's a feature where you can renumber the beginning line, the new line, and the increments, and say OK, and it will do all of the work for you afterwards. A really nice feature. We'll also take a look at the GL static control and mention that you're able to decide here that you can have unlimited periods stored. Previous FACTS was 26 periods, and now going forward from the time you start on the newer versions, you can have, and you press F1 to set this up in the beginning, and ProServe will be helping you to do that. You would pick F1 and go forward, and from then on, and this also is true in the essay reports. Okay, we're going to take a look at a couple other features here as we just briefly go through them. In inventory control, costing and pricing, there's a cost discrepancy entry. This means that you can receive product in, and if you find later there's additional charges or additional something that has to change on this, you can go back and select the receipt and find the disbursements and work through enter the difference. So you enter the difference, you process the entry, and then you, let's just go out here, and then you would do the register, and it will go through and make those changes where it was dispersed. Kind of a nice feature as well. Another new feature is the data changer, and that is found in the system maintenance file as we scroll down here. There's a generic data changer, and that's for customer numbers, vendor numbers, or classes. You can take a customer number and change it to all the way through the system. So you put in the old number and what you want to change the new number to, and it will go through and change that customer number for you. There are a few limitations to outside external programs, but it will change it for you all the way through FACTS. Pretty nice feature there. And there's also a delete item feature. If you have an item, if you have some items that you want to delete, they're not active for a number of years or whatever you need to do, you can get into this item delete, multiple item deletion entry, and you can work through that. We, again, will help you work through that. It's with security and training, but that's a nice feature as well. We're going to take a look at the purchasing quickly. Now, the Buyer's Control Center is something that we work hard at making sure that we train well. We train well in the beginning. We do all the parameter setups. We make sure that everyone knows how to use this. This is a very powerful tool that can help your business greatly. Whoops, you have to type in the buyer code number. And you have the ability to do this with purchasing or with transfers or returns. We're just going to do basic things here. As you can see, I pulled up this buyer, and these vendors have something that need to be done, and they're prioritized by color. This vendor has something that it's an emergency need. It's something that is needed, required action right away. These other vendors are vendors that have something that needs to be done, but it goes down in priority by color. So we'll take a look at this a little bit here. You have the ability to set what you want to see, some filters. Again, we're doing a brief overview of this. This is something we train on. We can recalculate just the line so that we have up-to-date information on that. But if I click on this line here, I'm going to go into this one vendor, V100. I have the ability to let's go into another one here. Okay, let's go into this number. So V101, because I had already worked on that one in a previous thing and just didn't recalculate. So V100, it shows me the item numbers that have something that I need to do with it. This apparently is a special order. This is the order number and the line number. I can pull the order up. Anywhere there's a magnifying glass, I can see the information of what's happening with this. So it goes through and it calculates which item numbers for this vendor I need to order. I can put in target so I know if I get discounts or free freight, all the way through the whole system. If it's guessing wrong, I can look at the math and say, oops, I clicked on the wrong item here because that's a special order. Let me click on this one to show the math for this. We can see the usage, all of the calculations that were done by the computer, by FACTS, to say this is what you should order and when you should order it. So we take a look at this item and it's telling us what to purchase. We can change our review cycle time if we didn't meet our targets to say I want to go out 100 days, and it increased the number of of things I need to order, the quantity. It changes the target so I can manipulate this. And as we get this right, once we decide we can manually override things and change each one of these, I can round this up to 80 if I wanted to. Once I get this where I want it to be, I can actually click this button and create a PO. Continue to create the document. I'm going to show the document. There it is, the PO. There's some notes on here. Here's the PO. Just like if I was creating a regular PO, I have the ability to add or delete or change. I can change my dates. I can finish this PO off right from here. I'm going to not print it for the demo purposes. And this vendor is taken care of off of this order. So when I go back in here, each day it's going to recalculate what I need to do and what are my priorities for that day or each time I go into it. We do extensive training with Buyer's Control Center. I'm going to show you we have basic facts, things that we've been showing you. Relationship management is something that you add on, but it does have a powerful interaction. And we're going to show you some things, relationship management in the Work Center. So if I type in RM, I can go into Work Centers here. There's Opportunity Manager, Quote Manager, Sales Order Manager, Purchase Order Manager. We just reviewed the Buyer's Control Center. The Buyer's Control Center is for deciding what to purchase. The Purchase Order Manager in the Work Centers and Relationship Management helps the manager decide to take a look at action they need to do in order to monitor what the purchase orders that have already been written. For the purposes today of the demonstration, we're going to go into the Collections Manager and take a look at the Collections Manager and some of the tools, just to give you an example of how valuable this program can be. When you click, every single customer that has a receivable will show here, and then again there's a tree where you can expand and see what's there. You have many different options here that we'd be willing to go through and do training on, but let's just take a look at something. This top part is for the customer's aging. This is the total company aging. So when I click on an invoice, I now can see the contacts for that. You have the ability to edit an invoice, to print a statement, to do a statement print for this customer right from the screen. See the past invoice, pull it up, email it from here, create notes and to-dos, but we're going to do one little section here. We're going to select all the invoices for this customer, go over to this contact, options, email. Here's a template that defaulted, but this is not the template I want. I want the one that I created that has to do with past invoices. I pick up this template. I'm going to overwrite. Now it's an HTML file. I'm going to look at the HTML file. This is what the customer would receive. And I can change this if I want to. I can edit the text. In reviewing your account, I noticed the following invoices are past due. It listed them all. It totaled them all. I also have the ability to attach files. And then I can send to the contact's email that's on file. So we'll cancel here. We're not going to send anything out at this point. But you can see there's several different filters you can create. The people, the customers who are using the Credit and Collections Work Center are not printing paper agings. They're creating a filter and saying, show me which customers are 90 days past due, and they're working from off that list. When they're through with that, they can do another filter. Show me which customers today that are 60 days past due. Then they work right from here because they can go right into the account. They can add notes. They can do everything. And if someone else is processing payments, they have real-time view. They don't have to write things on the aging, make the phone calls, go back in the system. Everything is at their fingertips a few clicks away. So there are many things that we've seen here that have enhancements. There's many more to show you. Give us a call and we can go over more with you that might relate to your business. These views, I didn't show you the views. You can view by customer, by salesperson. You have the ability to mark invoices disputed so that they're not and decide whether they will be considered in credit checks or not decided. So as you change these views, you still have all this ability to see the same thing and do the same thing. So there are other reports in base facts. There's custom layouts that have been increased. More and more reports give you ability to make a few changes. The past invoice report, you can take out cost, and now it can be a report that you're able to customize where the columns are, how it looks per customer. You can send it to Excel. The credit card program, SendPost, has been completely redone in the new facts, and it's all compliant. So let's go out and go back to our PowerPoint here and kind of wrap this up and where we're at. We saw what was new on the inside. Let's wrap this up. The newest technology, increased connectivity. You can increase your visibility and data integrity, drill down, audit, item deletion, data changer. All of the file maintenances have the ability to audit. You can track if someone changed a credit limit, you can see who did it when. Unlimited financial periods stored, enhanced and flexible reporting. Next level credit card processing functionality. Reduce your out of stocks, overstocks, and emergency buys with the new purchasing module. Leverage these new efficiencies for increased stakeholder satisfaction. Are you ready to upgrade? For more information, contact Jackie Smith at 716-635-5080 extension 323. I'd love to talk with you. You can email me or check out our website. We do have some brochures that are on the website, and you'll be able to take a look at more details. Thank you.